My name's Steve Kerrigan. I'm the Executive Director at the Gallagher Bluedorn, and we're taking a few minutes to share some of our excitement about our upcoming season and let you know a little bit of the backstory between about some of the shows that are coming. The first one I want to talk about is our classical music, because our classical music is one of our most important things we do at the Gallagher, and in reality, it's at the root of so much of the other music we do. This year we've always had a lot of chamber music. We really enjoy that intimate experience. And in fact, we've created a new kind of experience over the last year or so where we actually invite the audience to join the performer on stage. Blake, you've been to a bunch of those shows.
I have, yeah. And it gives you a completely different experience than what you have while seated in the hall. Seated in the hall, it's an incredible acoustic experience, but you can't see the nuances that you can see like when you're sitting on stage. And so even without knowing the music that they're playing, you can pick up how they're transitioning back and forth, who's going to be taking the lead, and you can watch the incredible finger work of how complicated these pieces are.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. The other piece that I see is the expression on the face, right? As they sort of lean into a note or the passion comes out. And the other thing that we hear from artists is that they really like having the audience there because the feedback is so immediate. And so, a sour note owns a wince, but they see those, what happens every time. Every time we've done one of these concerts, the audience sort of starts out sort of relaxed and listening, and then slowly as the musicians go on, they lean forward and they just become more and more captivated by the experience.
And one of my favorite patron comments was that it feels like you're with a bunch of friends that have gathered in a living room, and then it just so happens that one of these performers can play, or one of these people can play music, and they're fantastic. I mean, a world-class musician playing in your living room.
I love the intimacy of it, and we have 3 shows that are that way. The first of them is Trio con Brio. And when we do our programming for classical music, we try to bring some of the best from the US, but also some of the best from Europe and around the world. And Trio con Brio is one of those. They're just a remarkable group from Copenhagen, and they play with a piano and 2 string players, and a really wonderful repertoire. Some of it very exciting and technically just requiring impresario playing, just incredible playing skills. The next one we have coming is not going to be in that format. In fact, it's a rare treat for the Gallagher Bluedorn, because we'll be bringing the Shanghai Opera Symphony Orchestra. And symphony orchestras, of course, a chamber group might be 3, 4, maybe even 10 or 12. But a full-on symphony orchestra will be 60, 70, 80 players. And so they can take on pieces that no chamber group could play, including some of the great ones. And when we looked at the Shanghai Opera and we were looking at what they had available, what they had practiced and were performing on this tour, this national tour, something that caught my eye right away was the Dvorak. Because this year will be the 100th anniversary of Antonin Dvorak's death. And for a lot of people here in Iowa, that we know that Dvorak had a particular relationship with Iowa and lived in Spillville, Iowa, actually right before he composed one of the pieces that we're actually going to have them perform for us. And that is the Symphony for a New World, Dvorak's 9th Symphony. And this is an incredible piece of music. In fact, for someone from another country to come here, live in America, and then write about it, he wrote one of the songs that really is one of the definitive pieces of music of America. You probably don't remember it, Blake. And I don't really remember it either, to be honest. But while the moon landing was occurring, when Neil Armstrong was actually setting foot on the moon, Symphony for a New World is the music that they played in the background. It's that much of an American piece. So I just think it's great. Our connection to Iowa, brought to us by this Chinese symphony orchestra. It's just going to be a remarkable evening.
It is fun. As you've had your own experiences with Symphony for a New World, and so I've been listening to it myself, thinking about, what is it about this piece that makes it so good? And what I love is that he gives you little teases of these melodies, these little earwigs that get stuck in your mind, and then he builds them up, it goes away, builds them up, brings them back a little bit with maybe a different section, and then comes back full force. And there's this one little section, and I think I've listened to just these 15 seconds over and over again. It's like, give me more of that, give me more. So
well, Dvorak actually sort of challenged American composers because Dvorak studied Native American music, jazz, gospel, sort of the Native American, the true American art forms. And he brought them into his composition and challenged American composers to do more of that as well, to tell our own story. And, you know, of course they did.
Yeah.
But just a remarkable, remarkable part of any evening. The next piece we slip back to the stage, so that intimate on-stage setup. And it's actually the first time we've been able to bring a group from the Chamber Society of Lincoln Center. And the Chamber Society of Lincoln Center has gathered the finest chamber musicians in the world. And sort of have a stamp of approval that's much sought after. It's the first time we'll have brought a group from there. And they'll be doing a wonderful set of concerts for 4 hands and multiple pianos and pianists. So it's all piano evening, but stuff you don't hear played. Stuff played by multiple pianists at the same time on multiple pianos sometimes. And so a little bit of a spectacle as well as a great musical treat. And again, you're right up on top of it watching that performance.
Yeah, very exciting.
And then we're going to wrap up with another onstage show, and again, another piano performance. I have to say, there's something about the Gallagher and pianos. In fact, we just noticed this year, about our 17th year, that the piano was starting to lose a little of its shine. We use it a lot. And so this $150,000 Steinway concert grand piano that we've had since we opened, that was hand-picked, is actually getting a full overhaul over the course of the summer so that we can be fresh for these concerts. But we're going to end our season with Van Cliburn gold medalist. And anybody who's ever seen one of these performers knows that they're technically very, very good, or they wouldn't have made it to the competition. What makes the winners great is they have those sort of old souls that allows them not just to do technical things that are kind of frankly amazing, but also to do interpretation and bring life into that music. And again, interact with the audience and be part of, you're with them and they're with you.
Yeah. Yeah, one more comment about the onstage experience is that, people are starting to figure out how these work and want to be in the best positions. And so getting early is there a good opportunity to get exactly where you want to be placed.
Well, and the only downside of the onstage experience is that we have limited number of tickets.
Right.
And so they do tend to get sold out. And and they're sold general admission. That's the other fun part about it. So if you come early, it's first come, first serve in terms of getting in and getting good seats. Yeah. So it's really become sort of a popular experience.
Yeah. One thing I also want to mention is that a lot of these artists will offer a master class of some sort. This last year, I sat in on the Academy of St. Martin in the Field Chamber Ensemble master class, and typically there's UNI students that have prepared some kind of piece and will perform it in front of the artist, and they'll give feedback, and usually there's comments of, how do you prepare? Like, what kind of research do you do? And so you get a little bit of insight into these world-class performers of how they approach a composer or a piece of work, and they do so much research of, what stage of life was the composer in when he was writing this, or where were they in that? Were they in Spillville? What were they experiencing? What were they seeing? And so being able to sit in on one of those master classes gives you such more depth into seeing them perform a piece live.
And we are going to try to make some of those master classes public for next year.
That's right.
Folks who come in and observe that experience and the other thing that's really fun to watch, and I teach a few classes, and one of the things I really enjoy is watching Iowa kids, who are great kids. And our School of Music is very, for an undergraduate School of Music, we're nationally ranked. It's very, very strong.
Right.
And so these are great kids, but when they get to meet up with some of the best musicians in the world, the best violinists in the world, and working with 4 or 5 great UNI student violinists, you see them jump up in their progress. You see them recognize how good they need to be to make it as a pro. Right. And frankly, they play harder. Because they recognize the expertise of the person they're playing for. Yeah. It's just great.
It's a lot of fun.
So how do you buy tickets for one of these great shows?
Sure. So these are, of course, on the 1819 Artist Series, and will go on sale June 8th. But of course, you can buy it earlier if you'd like.
Right. The opportunity to join Friends. The Friends of the Gallagher Bluedorn is a group that is philanthropic. They support almost everything we do. They underwrite the cost of tickets. They pay for our children's programming. Very, very important group to the work of the Gallagher. And if you join it, you get some benefits too, like early ticket ordering based on how much you put in. And for some of these shows, and I suspect, frankly, some of the onstage experiences, being a Friends member might make a big difference in whether you're able to get into the show or not.
Very true. And of course, you can come by to our Unitex box office location at the Gallagher Blue Door or at the McLeod Center, or by calling 319-273-7469, or of course online at gbpac.com, where tickets are always available.
And I'd encourage people to go to our website, gbpac.com, because you can do more research about the shows, you can learn about the program, you can buy your tickets online, you can join friends online. All this stuff is so easy and you can do it right from your home.
That's right. And I'd also encourage you to sign up for our newsletter. You can sign up to get email updates where we send out a lot of information, more in-depth information, so you really get a rich story about what the artist is coming up.
Well, and you also learn about pre-show events like the master classes or things we're doing in the lobby. Sometimes we have pre-performances or pre-concert talks. It's a great way to get the most out of your ticket.
That's right.
Well, we're really excited about classical music, the Gallagher Blue Door, and we hope you're able to join us at the show this year. Until then, thanks for your time.